There is something God has placed inside you that was never meant to stay hidden. Not the performance the world demands, not the version of you designed to impress, but the real thing, the gift, the calling, the testimony that was built through everything you survived. And God is saying to you right now, it is time. Stop hiding what I placed in you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Go out and let the world witness what I have done. Number one, God did not give you the gift to bury it. He gave it to be expressed. There is a parable that never loses its weight. A man gives 3 servants talents before he leaves on a journey. 2 of them invest what they received. They take it out into the world and let it multiply. The third buries his. He hides it. He keeps it safe. He protects it from the risk of being used. When the master returns, he does not commend the buried talent. He commends the ones that were put to work, the ones that were brought out into the open, the ones that were used for the purpose they were given. The gift God placed in you was not given to be kept safe in the hidden place forever. The hidden season was preparation, not permanent residence. There is a time for burial and a time for breaking through the surface. And the buried seed that never breaks through the surface does not fulfill the purpose of its planting. It is time to break through. Not for attention, not for recognition, because the gift was given for a purpose that requires it to be visible, requires it to be active, requires it to be expressed in the world rather than protected in the quiet. What God placed in you is meant to work, and it cannot work while it remains buried. Number 2, the world needs what you carry, not someday, now. There is a specific person somewhere who needs exactly what you carry. The specific testimony that only you can tell because only you lived it. The specific gift that only you express in the specific way you express it. The specific perspective that only your journey produced. The specific kind of presence that only your combination of experience and faith and survival could create. That person is waiting. Not waiting for someone perfect. Not waiting for the polished, fully prepared, all doubt resolved version of you. Waiting for you as you are right now, with everything you have been through and everything you have learned and everything God has built in you through the seasons that shaped you. When you delay the expression of what God placed in you, the person who needed it waits longer. When you keep the gift in the quiet because you do not feel fully ready, the life that was meant to be touched by it goes untouched for another season. The world is not asking you to be perfect before you step forward. It is asking you to step forward. The readiness you are waiting to feel is not a prerequisite for impact. Impact often produces the confidence that waiting for impact cannot. Go. The world needs what you carry, right now. Number 3, publicly does not mean loudly. It means faithfully visible. When God says perform this publicly, He is not asking you to chase attention. He is not calling you to a platform before the character is ready. He is not telling you to announce what you carry before you have fully understood what you are carrying. Publicly means faithfully visible. It means living what you believe in the spaces where people can see it, serving where others are watching, speaking truth when silence would be more comfortable, standing firm in what you carry even when standing firm draws attention you did not seek. Some chosen ones perform publicly in front of thousands, others perform publicly in front of 10. The size of the audience is not what makes the expression significant. The faithfulness of the expression is what makes it significant. David was faithful in the field with the sheep before he was faithful in the field against the giant. The faithfulness was the same in both places. The audience was different. Be faithfully visible in the space you are in right now, not waiting for a larger stage to justify the full expression of what you carry. The stage you are on today is the training ground for every stage that comes after it. Use it fully. Live it fully. Let people see what God has done in you, not because you are seeking the seeing, but because the light was never meant to hide. Number 4. The testimony you have been holding needs to be spoken. There is something you have been through that someone else is currently in the middle of. A season of doubt that felt unsurvivable. A loss that felt like the end. A waiting period that seemed to have no purpose. A moment when God felt absent and you held on anyway. You came through that. And on the other side of it, you carry something that no one who has not been through it can give. The testimony of what it was actually like. Not the cleaned up version. Not the edited narrative that makes the struggle sound more manageable than it was. The real account of the real doubt and the real faithfulness and the real God who met you in the real darkness and was real even when he felt absent. That testimony was not given to you for your private benefit alone. It was given to you as a weapon, as a tool, as the exact story that someone in their own dark season needs to hear to believe that they can come through it too. Speak it when the door opens, when the opportunity presents, when someone in your life is in the place you once were. Let the testimony serve its purpose. Let it do the work it was designed to do. Let the broken place you came from become the bridge someone else walks across to get to the other side. Number 5, fear of man has kept too many gifts in the dark for too long. This is the honest word. The real reason many chosen ones are not yet living in the full public expression of what God placed in them is not lack of readiness. It is fear of man, fear of what people will say, fear of being misunderstood, fear of the criticism that comes to anyone who steps forward, fear of being seen and then judged, fear of failing publicly after having believed publicly. That fear is real, and it is one of the most effective tools the enemy uses to keep the gifts of chosen ones buried past their season of usefulness. But chosen one, the God who placed the gift in you did not give you a spirit of fear. He gave you power and love and a sound mind. And the sound mind understands that the opinion of people who are not building with you should not have the authority to silence what God placed in you. People will have opinions. Some will be supportive, some will be skeptical, some will be critical of the very thing that was placed in you by God for a purpose they cannot fully see. That is not a reason to stay silent. That is the predictable cost of being visible in a world where not everyone has the eyes to see what God is doing. Pay the cost. Step forward. The gift is too important to leave buried because of what people might say about the one who carries it. Number 6. What God publicly confirms cannot be privately undone. When God moves on behalf of a chosen one, he does not do it quietly. He does not whisper a confirmation that only the chosen one can hear and leave no external evidence. When he moves, it is visible. It is undeniable. It is the kind of movement that the people who doubted the most cannot argue against. That is what awaits the chosen one who steps into the public expression of what God placed in them. Not just internal satisfaction, external confirmation, the kind that silences the doubt that kept them quiet, the kind that answers the fear of man with the unmistakable evidence of God's hand, the kind that makes the stepping forward look not like risk, but like obedience that was always going to be honored. What God publicly confirms cannot be privately undone. When he shows up in the visible expression of a chosen one's gift, he does not take it back. He does not leave them exposed without covering. He does not call them out and then step back. He goes with them. And when God goes with a chosen one into the public expression of what he placed in them, the result is not something human effort could have produced. Step forward. He is going with you. Number 7. Every witness carries something away from what they see in you. When you live publicly, what God has placed in you, the people who witness it do not walk away unchanged. Something is deposited in them by the experience. Something they may not be able to name immediately, but that works in them over time. They see someone living in genuine faith, and they carry away a new picture of what genuine faith looks like. They see someone leading with integrity, and they carry away a standard that raises the expectation for their own lives. They see someone using a gift without apology, and they carry away the permission to stop apologizing for theirs. They see someone walking in purpose, and they carry away the reminder that purpose is not just for other people. You may never know what your public expression produced in the people who witnessed it. You may never hear from the person who watched you speak truth in a difficult moment and decided to start speaking truth themselves. You may never know about the life that changed direction because of something you did or said or carried in a way that they saw. But it happened. It is happening. And the God who told you to perform this publicly knows exactly who is watching and exactly what they need to receive from what they witness in you. Do it for the ones who will carry something away from it, even the ones you will never know about. Number 8. Morning is the time when God speaks the clearest. Do not waste it. There is something about the morning that Scripture honors. Before the noise of the day arrives, before the demands begin, before the obligations and the distractions fill every available space in your attention, the morning is the place where God can be heard most clearly by the heart that is willing to listen. The revelation this message speaks about is available in the morning posture. the early choice to go to God before going to anything else, the deliberate placing of the day in His hands before the day places itself in yours, the quiet attentiveness that says, before I perform anything publicly, I receive from the one who placed the gift in me. That morning practice is not separate from the public expression. It is the source of it. The chosen one who performs publicly what God has placed in them without going to God privately first is the chosen one who eventually empties without being refilled, who gives without receiving, who expresses without returning to the source. Stay connected to the morning. Protect it. Whatever the day demands, give God the first of it. And let everything that follows in the visible and public spaces of your life flow from what happens in the invisible and private ones. The revelation comes in the morning, and what it reveals is worth more than any later rush of the day can offer. Number 9, stop shrinking the gift to fit small expectations. There will always be people who are more comfortable with a smaller version of you, who were fine with the gift when it stayed quiet, who supported the calling in theory but became uneasy when it began to take up real space in real rooms. Do not adjust the gift for their comfort. Do not trim what God gave you to fit the expectations of people who were never meant to define its size. The gift was not given to you at the size that makes others comfortable. It was given to you at the size that serves the purpose God has for it. When you shrink what God gave you to manage someone else's reaction, you are not being humble. You are being disobedient. Humility is not making yourself small. Humility is knowing the gift is from God and using it fully for His purposes rather than your own. Walk in the full size of what you carry, not for attention, not for pride, because the person who needed the full expression of your gift needed all of it. Not the reduced version, not the safe version, the real thing, at full strength. Give it fully, in God's name, and let people respond however they respond. Number 10, the witness of a chosen one living fully is one of the most powerful things in the world. When a chosen one steps into the full public expression of what God placed in them, something happens in the people who witness it that is difficult to quantify but completely real. Hope is activated. The kind of hope that only comes from watching something real. Not a story about someone else, not a theoretical framework for what is possible. The living proof, standing right there, being and doing and carrying exactly what God called them to be and do and carry. That witness reaches places that sermons cannot reach, arguments cannot reach, logic cannot reach. It reaches the deep inner place where a person decides whether to believe that God is real in ordinary human lives, whether transformation is actually possible, whether the calling they feel inside themselves is something they are allowed to pursue or something they should continue to ignore. Your fully lived life is an answer to those questions for someone who is watching you. And the answer your life gives when you step into the full public expression of what God placed in you is yes. Yes, God is real. Yes, transformation is possible. Yes, the calling is real, and it is worth following. That is what the world is waiting to witness in you, not a performance, a life, fully lived, fully expressed, fully given for the purpose it was designed for. That is worth coming out of the hidden season for. Number 11, obedience is the first step. The rest follows. The chosen one who is waiting for complete clarity before they step forward is the one who waits the longest, because complete clarity rarely comes before the step. It comes during it and after it. God does not lay out the full road before He asks you to walk. He gives the next step, and the step after that becomes visible when the first one is taken. That is not carelessness on His part. It is the design. Because the faith that moves one step forward without seeing the full road is the faith that grows. The faith that stays still until everything is certain is the faith that stays small. Take the step that is in front of you, the small act of obedience that God has been pressing on your heart. The conversation you have been putting off. The thing you have been feeling called to do but have been waiting for more certainty before beginning. Certainty follows obedience. It does not precede it. And the chosen one who moves in obedience before they feel fully certain is the chosen one who discovers on the other side of the step that God was already there waiting for them. Move. Chosen one. The first step is the hardest. Everything after it gets clearer. Number 12. God does not call you to perform for applause. He calls you to serve through expression. There is a difference between performing for people and performing for God. One is driven by what people think. The other is driven by what God said. One is exhausting because people are inconsistent. The other is sustainable because God is not. The chosen one who steps into public expression for the applause will find that applause is unreliable. Some days it comes, other days it does not. And when it does not come, the one who was performing for it has nothing left to stand on. The stage feels pointless. The expression feels futile. The gift starts to feel like a burden. But the chosen one who steps into public expression as an act of service, as the fulfillment of a calling, as the giving of what God placed in them to the people it was meant for, that chosen one does not depend on applause to keep going. They are fueled by something the crowd cannot give and cannot take away: the call, the purpose, the knowledge that what they are doing is not for human recognition, but for divine assignment. Perform from that place, not from the need to be seen, from the calling to serve, and everything about how you carry it changes when the motivation changes. Number 13. Every great witness started somewhere small. Moses was tending sheep when God spoke from a burning bush. Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress when the angel called him a mighty warrior. Mary was an ordinary young woman in an ordinary town when the extraordinary was placed inside her. None of them started on a large stage. None of them began with a large audience. None of them had impressive credentials when the call came. They had availability, willingness, and enough faith to say yes, even when the yes was terrifying. Where you are starting is not the measure of where God is taking you. The size of your current stage is not the ceiling of your calling. The smallness of your current platform is not evidence that the gift is small. It is the beginning of something that begins small because beginnings always do. Stay faithful where you are. Do the small thing with the same commitment you would bring to the large thing. Serve the few with the same heart you would bring to the many. And trust that the God who gave the gift knows exactly what he is building and is building it according to a timeline that accounts for every step, including the small ones. The witness starts somewhere small, and what it becomes is determined not by how it starts, but by the faithfulness that carries it from the start to the finish. Number 14, let everyone witness it, not for your glory, for theirs. When God says let everyone witness it, he is not talking about your promotion. He is talking about the people who need to see what he does through a willing chosen one, about the lives that will be changed by watching someone live their calling fully, about the hope that will be activated in hearts that have been waiting for proof that God is real and active and faithful. Your public expression of what God placed in you is not primarily about you. It is about every person who witnesses it, about what they carry away, about what is deposited in them when they see someone living out of genuine calling rather than performance. The world is full of performances, of people doing impressive things for visible reasons, of carefully managed images and curated presentations. What it is hungry for, what it is actually starving for, is the real thing, the genuine article, the life that is actually lived according to its design rather than according to what will look best. You carry that, the real thing, built through real seasons of real difficulty and real faith and real encounters with a real God. Let everyone witness it, not for your sake, for theirs, because what they witness in you may be the thing that changes the direction of their own lives. Number 15, do not wait for perfect conditions. Step forward in the ones you have. The moment you are waiting for before you fully step into the public expression of your gift is not coming the way you are imagining it. The perfect alignment of confidence and clarity and circumstances and readiness. It does not arrive packaged that way. It arrives in the middle of ordinary life with ordinary doubts and ordinary imperfection. And the chosen one who waits for the extraordinary moment before they step forward misses the ordinary moments that were always the actual opportunity. The conditions you have right now are the conditions God is working with, not the ideal future version. These, the available relationships, the current platform, the imperfect readiness, the faith that is real even though it still has questions. God does not need perfect conditions to move through a willing vessel. He used a bush that was on fire. He used a jawbone of a donkey. He used the walls of Jericho that fell, not from weapons, but from walking. The condition he requires is not perfect. It is obedient. Be obedient in the conditions you have, and watch what God does with what you bring to the table exactly as it is. Number 16. What is performed in God's name carries his authority. This is important. When the expression of what God placed in you goes out in his name, something accompanies it that no human effort can manufacture. His authority, the weight of heaven behind what is spoken, the covering that makes the gift effective, not just on the human level, but on the spiritual one. The testimony spoken in his name reaches deeper than the words can go. The gift expressed as an act of worship touches places and people that the same gift expressed for personal advancement cannot touch. The act of service done as an offering to God carries in it something that the act of service done for recognition does not. This is why the motivation matters, not for God to approve the performance, but because the motivation determines what accompanies the expression, and what God can do through an offering made to him exceeds what human talent alone can accomplish. Offer it to him first, in the quiet of the morning, in the private place before the public one, and then go out and let what he accompanied with his presence go to work in the lives of the people who will receive it. What goes out in his name does not return empty. Number 17. The courage to be seen is part of the calling. Nobody talks about this enough. Being visible requires courage, real courage, the kind that faces the vulnerability of being seen and chooses the expression anyway, the kind that knows criticism is coming and steps forward anyway, the kind that carries the gift into the open even when every part of the inner life wants to stay protected in the private. That courage is not separate from the calling. It is part of it. The chosen one who was called to a public expression of their gift was also called to the courage that expression requires. And the courage is built the same way everything else was built in the hidden season, through choosing it over and over, through taking the small step of visibility and finding that the world did not end, through speaking the truth in a small room and building the confidence for the larger one. Do not wait to feel courageous before you step forward. Courage is the result of stepping forward, not the prerequisite for it. Every act of visible faithfulness builds the capacity for the next one. Every time you choose expression over safety, the courage for the next expression grows. Start now with what you have, in the courage that is available today, and let what is built through the doing carry you into the larger expressions that are coming. Number 18. The gift was tested in private so it could be trusted in public. Everything that happened in the hidden season was not just preparation for your personal growth. It was the testing of the gift, the proving of what you carry under conditions that were not easy, the refining of the expression through circumstances that demanded the real thing rather than the performance. What was tested privately can be trusted publicly, because the world has already tried it. Difficulty tried it, doubt tried it, discouragement tried it, silence tried it, and the gift came through every test still intact, still real, still worth giving. That is what you carry into the public expression, not an untested thing that might crack under pressure, a proven thing, refined by everything the hidden season brought, stronger for every challenge that tried to diminish it. Walk into the public season with the confidence of someone who knows what they carry has already been tested, not by a comfortable simulation, by the real conditions of a real waiting season, with real difficulty and real faith. What has been proven in private is ready for public expression, and the people who receive it will receive something that has been tested by everything and still stands. Number 19. This is the moment, not later. Every person who ever stepped into a God-given calling had a moment, a specific point where the internal shift happened, where the waiting gave way to the moving, where the private preparation met the public expression, where the gift that had been held quietly was finally brought out into the open. This is your moment, not next month when the circumstances are more aligned, not after more preparation that is really just more delay disguised as wisdom, not when the confidence arrives in the comfortable form you have been expecting it to take. Now, in this season, with the gift you have been carrying, with the readiness that was built in the preparation, with the faith that survived everything the waiting threw at it, with the God who called you going with you into the expression, go out and perform what he placed in you, publicly, fully, in his name, for the people who need to witness it, for the ones whose lives will change because of what they see in you, for the God who placed it in you and is waiting to honor the obedience of bringing it out. This is the moment. Do not miss it by waiting for a moment that looks more perfect than this one. Number 20. Let everyone witness what God has done. Your life is the message. Words are important, But the most powerful sermon ever preached is a life lived fully in alignment with its calling. The person whose daily existence is the expression of what God placed in them preaches something that no spoken word alone can